In northern Lebanon, an Israeli air attack on the Christian majority town of Aitou left at least 21 people killed. The government of Haiti denounces the discriminatory deportations carried out by the Dominican Republic and requests a halt to such deportations. And the Chinese government accused the United States government Monday of creating the hacker group Typhoon to spread false information and incriminate the Asian nation. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In northern Lebanon, at least 21 people have been killed in an Israeli air attack on the Christian majority town of Aitou in the region of Sagarta. The death toll was confirmed by the Lebanese Red Cross after an early report by the country's health ministry had initially informed 9 deaths. In the aftermath of the strike that hit a residential building, Red Cross volunteers searched for survivors in the rubble as ambulances evacuated several wounded. Israeli strikes on the country have mainly been concentrated in southern areas where the Zionist regime claims Hezbollah built its power base. In this regard, according to Lebanese state media, the attack marks the first time the area was hit by the Israeli army in a year of hostilities, and its target remains unclear. The Israeli regime committed 4 new massacres against Palestinian families in the Gaza Strip in the last few hours, leaving more than 60 people dead. Health officials informed that several victims are still under the rubble and scattered on the streets and warned that the death toll could rise. They also reported a total of 220 wounded from these recent massacres as the Zionist regime continues its aggression that has killed more than 42,300 Palestinians since the October 2023 onslaught. In this context, according to the estimates of the medical authorities, about 10,000 people are still missing under the rubble and are yet to be rescued. In addition, over 50 Palestinians have been arrested by the Israeli regime in the occupied West Bank in the last 24 hours. The increase in arrests is concentrated in the governorates of Bethlehem and Jenin, as well as in other Palestinian localities. In this regard, the Palestinian Prisoners Society and the Committee for the Affairs of Prisoners and Ex-Prisoners denounced that the Israeli occupation is advancing its aggressions during the tensions by subjecting the victims and their families to harassment and threats. In Cuba, people marched on Monday to condemn the genocide perpetrated by the Israeli government for more than a year against the Palestinian population and other Middle East tensions. This way, the demonstration called by the Communist Youth Union of the Caribbean country denounced the complicity of the United States in the Zionist onslaught that has caused more than 42,000 deaths in the Gaza Strip, most of them women and children, and more than 2,000 in Lebanon. In the capital, Havana, the participants marched from the Mahdi Forge to the Anti-Imperialist Tribune. In the rest of the country, there were open tribunes to demand the end without conditions or delays of the Israeli escalation in the Middle East.
Aquellos que eligen ese silencio, sabemos nosotros de nuestra gesta revolucionaria que el silencio ante los...
Those who choose silence, we know from our revolutionary struggle that silence before pressure means complicity, and we, the Cuban people, the Cuban youth, are not accomplices of this act. We are not accomplices of terrorism as long as the Zionist state of Israel together with the government of the United States continue tearing innocents in Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen. Our dreams and our actions must be multiplied in our schools. We are talking about the genocide that is being committed today. We are getting closer to the reality of the Palestinian children and teenagers who only dream of seeing their parents and siblings. The more we know about the Palestinian reality, the more we are committed and the more we are driven to continue
Cuanto más conocemos la realidad palestina,
In this context, the student from Antigua and Barbuda at the Latin American School of Medicine in Cuba, Joshua McCurshin, addressed the importance of this demonstration in support of the Palestinian people.
So today we've gathered here to march to represent in commemoration of the first anniversary of the war against Palestine. This march, all of us gathered here standing in solidarity with Palestine because we understand that what is occurring should not happen to anyone in the world. And we want to say that how, despite them being a country, they have representation all over the world. Because we have people here from different parts of the world. Myself, I'm from Antigua and Barbuda in the Caribbean. We have people here from South America, from Asia, from Africa, from all over the world.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. The government of Haiti denounces the discriminatory deportations carried out by the Dominican Republic and requests a halt to such deportations. During a meeting with representatives of international human rights organizations, the Haitian Foreign Minister Dominique Dupuy condemned the discriminatory behavior of the Dominican government. Dupuy described the deportations of Haitians as abusive, so the representative of the Observatory of Human Rights, Ida Sawyer, asked Santo Domingo to stop the deportations until Haiti reaches stability. Meanwhile, the Haitian Presidential Transition Council described the Dominican Republic's deportation campaign as brutal and racist, following the official report that estimates that at least 11,177 Haitian citizens have been repatriated in the first week of the operation. Mexican authorities deploy more than 1,000 soldiers to confront organized crime in the state of Michoacán. The troops arrived at the 43 military zone based in Apatzingan to carry out duties of patrolling and to fight criminal organizations which are mainly harassing farmers who are the victims of continuous extortion and violence. The uniformed officers, whose task is to warranty security, will have armored vehicles from the Secretariat of National Defense to patrol rural and urban zones. According to authorities, extortion against businessmen and farm workers in Michoacán is mainly concentrated in the municipalities of Nueva Italia, Antunes, and Buena Vista, among others. The administration of Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum will build 1 million new homes to address the housing shortage affecting mainly the north and south of the country. The Secretariat of Agricultural, Territorial and Urban Development announced that half of these houses will be built by the Mexican federal institution Infonavit and the other half by the National Housing Commission. The housing project will also address an improvement and enlargement program for 450,000 houses in the country, particularly in areas with higher economic delays and indexes of vulnerability. The housing plan is expected to generate 6 million direct jobs and 9 million indirect jobs. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum highlighted the development of the welfare poles plans, which will be implemented in future investments made in the nation.
We have developed a program that we call welfare poles, where the goal is to encourage investment, to encourage companies that demand water to invest in the country where there is access to water, to generate recycling conditions, and at the same time to continue to comply with the increase in salaries in the country, and that the homes that we are going to build are also associated with these development poles, welfare poles.
Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro announced changes to the General Staff of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces in order to continue to warranty the independence, security and peace of Venezuela. The Venezuelan head of state informed the ratification of General-in-Chief Vladimir Padrino Lopez as Minister of People's Power for Defense and General-in-Chief Domingo Antonio Hernandez Lares as head of the Strategic Operational Command. On the other hand, Maduro announced the appointment of Major General Johan Alexander Hernandez Lares as General Commander of the Bolivarian Army and Admiral Ashraf Andel Hadi as commander of the Bolivarian Navy. The Bolivarian president thanked the outgoing officers for their fulfillment of their responsibilities and wished success to those who holding the new position. During his regular Monday TV program Con Maduro Más, More with Maduro, the Venezuelan head of state praised the popular nature and high level of professionalism of the Bolivarian armed forces and reaffirmed that the nation has created a perfect military structure to defend peace in Venezuela.
But now we have a popular army, a national armed force that is highly professional, with high academic level, the highest in history. We also have a military university. We have a structure, a popular military police structure that is perfect to defend peace in our country.
On Monday, Venezuela announced the arrival of the vessel Doña José II, which will begin collecting and updating data for the development of gas production. The Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez indicated that the measure will be carried out in the Dragon Field, northwest of the Paria Peninsula, Sucre State, with maritime border with Trinidad and Tobago as established in the intergovernmental agreement between the two countries. At the same time, she emphasized that the project will allow the country to firmly advance in the growth of the sector's potential, providing an opportunity for foreign investment. The Vice President also indicated that the country is on the path to become a gas exporter. The National Assembly of Venezuela received the document on the budget law of the nation for 2025, which will be discussed in the coming weeks by this parliamentary entity. The document delivered by the sectorial Vice President of Planning, Ricardo Menendez, considers the approval of more than $514 million allocated to a variety of initiatives, social programs and plans of the National Executive to strengthen the country's production. The text is expected to be submitted to the National Assembly in the second week of December for its discussion and approval. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The Chinese government accused the United States government Monday of creating the hacker group Volt Typhoon to spread false information and incriminate the Asian nation. According to China's National Computer Virus Emergency Response Center, the United States has been creating an international ransomware group to incriminate China and other countries. The agency also accused Washington of using the undersea fiber optics infrastructure to carry out massive cyber espionage and surveillance operations across the world. On the other hand, Beijing's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning condemned what she called the irresponsible actions of the United States and urged an immediate end to its cyber attacks worldwide.
The United States used advanced technical tools to incriminate other countries in order to launch cyber attacks. It inserted strings in several languages, such as Chinese, to cheat the traceability attribution analysis and incriminate other countries. It is worth noting that Guam, the place that the United States claimed to be the victim of Volt Typhoon cyber attacks, is actually the launcher of a large number of cyber attacks against China and many Southeast Asian countries.
The Chinese spokesperson also warned that the United States was a threat for the global cybersecurity.
The facts revealed in the report show once again who is the biggest threat to global cybersecurity. The U.S. government has so far not only turned a blind eye to the report, but also has continued to spread disinformation, including Typhoon Volt. China condemns such irresponsible actions by the U.S. and urges Washington to immediately stop its global cyber attacks and stop defaming China using cybersecurity issues.
Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov arrived in Beijing for talks with his Chinese counterpart Dong Yin. During the meeting, the Chinese minister pointed out that the two armies should deepen strategic cooperation and improve the quality and effectiveness of their cooperation. In this regard, Belousov stressed that the Russian-Chinese military cooperation is a key element to increase the defense potential and to maintain regional stability. Moscow noted its readiness to work with Beijing to continue efficient cooperation and jointly address new global security challenges.
I have a close and fruitful cooperation with the Chinese comrades. I am convinced that today's talks will serve for further strengthening of the Russian-Chinese strategic partnership in the military plan, and have reached an unprecedented level with a key role in strengthening strategic ties, lies, and reliable contacts between the leaders of the two countries.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin met Monday with the chair of the nation's Central Election Commission, Ella Pamfilova, to discuss about the electoral campaigns held in the country in 2024. The head of the nation's highest electoral body said that both the presidential elections and those held during the so-called single voting day were carried out without difficulties. She also indicated that the remote electronic voting system was extended to 37 regions. Pamfilova also informed that by 2025, a new digital electoral platform named govt in its 2.0 version will be launched, replacing the automated state system. Rwanda's Minister of Health, Sabin Samisana, reported Monday that the Marburg virus outbreak is under control. During a meeting with the diplomatic corps and development partners, the high health official praised the vaccination strategies put in place by the Rwandan government to tackle the disease. Last week, the African country received 700 doses of a vaccine under trial, which has been offered to health professionals and those who have come into contact with confirmed cases. Chief Medical Officers at King Faisal Hospital, Augustine Sendegeja, affirmed that although the vaccine is still under trial, he believes it is safe and could be invaluable for those who are at risk of becoming infected. 13 people have reportedly died from the disease in Rwanda since the outbreak was announced on September 27th. In central Nigeria, two major rivers have flooded, displacing tens of thousands of people. Rescue workers in Kogi State have been helping residents move away from the confluence of the Niger and Benue rivers to displacement camps or nearby villages. According to the Red Cross Disaster Management Officer in Kogi, Umar V. Mahmoud, there are more than 60,000 people displaced and about 150,000 acres of land underwater. On the other hand, Kogi's State's Information Commissioner Kingsley Fanwo reported that displacement camps are becoming overwhelmed and estimated that more than 1 million people could be in affected areas. Nigeria often sees floods during the May to November rainy season, but there are fears these years could be even worse than 2022.
This flood comes always year by year.
Floods happen year after year and destroy something in our area. We need the local government to help us.
Local government to help us.
We were sleeping in the night. That the next thing we see.
We were sleeping at night, and it was my son who woke up to go to the bathroom and discovered that the water had submerged the house and everything was flooded.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.